Mary with MaryGreeley News. Thank you very much for joining me. Happy Valentine's Day. Today is February 14th, 2025. There were some eye-catching titles. One of them said, "Is the Bank of England running out of gold?" About 2% of the gold that is deep under the ground of the Bank of England in a network of vaults sits the world's second biggest known trove of gold. Evidently, 2% of it has been repatriated to different countries. A long time ago, the bank's vaults stored bullion owned by the crown, but these days they serve mostly as a repository for other central banks and private banks that want to hold on to the critical asset. But in recent weeks, fears have been raised that the vaults are slowly being emptied, leading to other fears that the Bank of England is struggling to keep up with the outflow. All of which raises a somewhat ominous question. Is the Bank of England running out of gold? The government told Sky News that there is no shortage of gold left inside the central bank's vaults, though it was acknowledged that billions of pounds of bullion had left and been flown across the Atlantic in recent months. You know where it's going? Yeah, the United States. Why is everything going, all the gold going to the United States? Are they preparing for some sort of disaster, possibly war, and think it's more secure there? Well, evidently, here in the U.S., they get more for their dollar, if you want to call it that, and it's got to do with tariffs. The movements are a symptom of a deeper financial issue. Traders are fretting about the possibility of Donald Trump imposing tariffs on movement of precious metals into the U.S. The preemptive trades have seen a sudden sharp rise in the amount of gold held in New York, not just from London, but also elsewhere around the world. U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs agenda is already having an impact on the global gold market. Much of the gold has been shipped to New York City, where the commodity is for the moment worth substantially more than in the UK capital. The US bank JP Morgan and the UK's HSBC are two of the biggest names flying the precious metal across the Atlantic to cover losses on short positions, reported the Wall Street Journal. Deputy Governor of the BOE, Sir Dave Ramsden, told the Telegraph it had been inundated with requests after New York's future market prices surged above the London cash price. Gold futures in the Big Apple have risen 11% this year, closing Thursday at $2,935 a troy ounce. Some analysts predict they could soon hit a record high of $3,000 a troy ounce. The price of gold is not just increasing in U.S. dollars, but in all the major fiat currencies of the world. In other words, fiat currencies are dramatically losing value against gold. This is precisely what a rising gold price means. You can buy less gold with fiat money. And that's just not gold. It means food, automobiles, other types of products that are made. Myself, I cannot afford to buy gold, so I stock up on food, buying canned foods that are on sale and stocking up, so I do beat inflation. There are certainly many reasons behind the enormous rise in the price of gold across all major currencies. One significant reason is that fiat currencies like the US dollar, the euro, and others are increasingly losing credibility. Many people say we have a crash coming. I wouldn't be surprised. Global crash is coming? Put your comments down below. How would you hedge against a global crash? As a result, investors are increasingly turning to gold and silver as a store of value, seeking to protect their portfolios from inflation and credit default risk by holding especially the yellow metal. One factor that has played a critical role for the more recent price dynamics in the world gold market is the expectation that the Trump administration could impose import tariffs on gold and silver. Bloomberg News reported on January 31st that the U.S. investment bank, J.P. Morgan, plans to transport physical gold worth $4 billion US from abroad to New York to prepare for fulfilling gold derivative contracts due this month. And this is February 14th. This move is likely to respond to the potential scenario where the Trump administration imposed tariffs on gold and silver, a tariff so significant that it would justify transporting physical silver, which is typically delivered by ship, by plane instead. However, repatriating gold is no simple matter. Moving it in and out of vaults takes time, not to mention security, and the gold rush has led to a shortage of logistic options. Adding to the complexity is the fact that the bank's vaults are not really designed to cater for long-scale inflows and outflows, so simply getting bars isn't easy. Last week, Deputy Governor Dave Ramsden said gold is a physical asset, so there are real logistical constraints and security constraints. It takes time, and the stuff is also quite heavy, as you know. The upshot, they say, is there is a multi-week wait for anyone wanting to remove gold from the bank, which in turn has pushed up the price of gold in London. Andrew Bailey said that London is a very important gold market. We have seen a movement of the relative price of gold in London and New York in recent times, and that has caused some gold to be moved to New York. Not vast, it's just under 2% of their stock. Adrian Ash, the director of research of precious metals marketplace, Bullion Vault, said, "There is a shortage in London's bullion market, but it's a shortage of manpower and trucks. New York, in contrast, has a glut of gold. It appears that the paper gold market has de facto decoupled from the physical market, distorting the entire market for gold, especially so as for many investors, gold futures, options, certificates, and gold ETFs have become almost equivalent to physical gold. This is why the physical gold market has become pyramided above the physical gold base. A truly gigantic volume of gold trading has been piling up, made possible using financial or paper gold instruments. However, if investors suddenly change their mind and go for physical material, potentially triggered by a U.S. import tariff on gold, or loss of confidence in the viability of the paper gold market, things could get truly turbulent. Yeah, I think a lot of people are turning to actually having the physical gold, in their hands instead of paper, what's on paper, saying that they own. I wouldn't trust that. Would you trust having certificates of gold on paper instead of physically having it maybe in your safe or stocked away in a hole underneath a fence post? What are your thoughts? Put your comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.